Welcome back to Console Crapshoot, where we spin a wheel to play a random video game on original hardware. Carl's pretty cute today, I'll give him that, but don't let that fool you. He has not picked an above-average game in what seems like months now. Sega Saturn again. Last time was the first time we actually got the Sega Saturn, and now we got it 2 times in a row. Pretty crazy. And we've got 273 North American games on the wheel right now for the Sega Saturn. Iron Man, XO, Manowar in heavy metal. That's a hell of a title. This is our first Marvel Comics game on the show, I believe. And like last episode, my cousin Philippe is still staying with me, so we get to play this one in 2-player mode. So I consider myself a comic book, I don't know if expert's the word, but I know a lot. But even for me, XO Manowar is pretty obscure. I mean, everyone knows Iron Man. Iron Man's Marvel. Iron Man's huge now, but before the movies and Robert Downey Jr., less huge, but still, everyone kind of knew Iron Man. Correct me if I'm wrong, but XO Manowar, not so much. And actually, that's probably because he's not even a Marvel character. He's from Valiant Comics. And I guess this was kind of a crossover thing. I know there was a crossover comic, not sure if it came after this game or before. But yeah, pretty obscure. I feel like this would be more interesting if it was Iron Man and War Machine. Maybe not. Maybe that's too predictable. Maybe we have a random-ass Valiant Comics character. But yeah, all that aside, right from the get-go, this doesn't look too promising. Not only do the graphics look kind of subpar for the year that this was released, but the gameplay seems awfully boring already. Feels like the development of this game was kind of rushed from what I can tell. Manowar and Iron Man have similar powers. They're basically the same in this. I don't know if that's the case in the comics. But aside from using your little jet boots and floating up a little bit and then running out of power and then having to wait for it to recharge so you can fly up and get to the top of a building again, doesn't really feel too Iron Man-y. I mean, most of the game is you're just walking. You're just walking slowly down hallways and streets. It's super bland. Feels very dated, obviously, but I think this would feel dated even at the time it was released. Oh, you can run. Not too much more exciting. Early on in the game, we got to these turrets, and we just could not figure out how to get past them. You can't shoot them, you can't run through them, so we started looking for a switch, couldn't find it, even looked it up online, found YouTube videos of people with the same problem, and those people just gave up. They couldn't figure out how to open it. We just kept digging and messing with it until finally, after playing with it forever, we realized that with a certain button combination, you can shoot up against the wall on the far side, and we shot these switches up against the wall, which turned the turrets off. I'm not exaggerating, we must have wasted 20 or 30 minutes on this. You figure, a well-designed game would figure out a way to tell you that there's an entirely different way to shoot enemies and hit switches in order to get through the game. Some very basic boss fights. We didn't come across any cinematics at all. Had a good laugh while we were juggling this giant bug up against this wall. That was pretty funny. You could tell whoever designed this level has actually been to the New York City subway system and to the 14th Street stop. They did a decent job there. As you go, you get more and more energy banks and build up your firepower, and that doesn't really give you any added weapons. It just makes you shoot more light balls at one time. Super lazy. One thing I will say is the game is long. I felt like we were playing this forever. It wasn't too hard, it wasn't too easy. We were having a decent time going through it, and we started getting tired, so I looked to see how much more we had, and we were like halfway through the game. It also may have felt longer because a lot of the levels, quite frankly, just looked the same. Oh, but I do like that you can strike little poses. Fierce. Alright, Iron Man, XO Manowar in heavy metal. What shall we score this? Well, like I said, it's not good. It's a shame that the 2 Saturn games we've got were pretty crap. Having my cousin over to be the second player made it more bearable. But yeah, bad sound, bad music, bad graphics, bad gameplay, and at least Contra Legacy of War had some dated CG cinematics to laugh at. It's just 2 metal men walking around at a leisurely pace shooting laser balls. So unfortunately, I've got to give this one a 2 out of 5. Yes, another 2 out of 5. The bad game streak continues. We had a couple of 3s, but they were barely 3s. But despite all that, glad we got to play this. I was curious about it. Now we know. And hey, if you're a fan of the channel and the videos that me and Carl put out, please do all the things like, follow, share, repost, favorite, all that stuff to ensure that you always see our videos. TikTok's algorithm has been killing our numbers lately. But yeah, thanks for all the support. Really means a lot. Let's keep our fingers crossed for a better game next time. We will see you then.